So this is the 2016 MacBook Pro, and it's what I've been using as my daily driver for the past year or so. Everything from just watching YouTube videos, to typing my assignments, to editing all of my YouTube videos. It's worked pretty well, and overall it's a great laptop. It's expensive, but it's a great laptop overall. Now, I've got this iMac Pro to play around with for a little bit, and yes, fundamentally it's a completely different machine since this is a desktop and this is a laptop, but since I've been working purely off a laptop for the past year or so, I wanted to see what it was like moving from a MacBook Pro to an iMac Pro. Now, I get that it sounds stupid to compare a laptop to a desktop, but the reason why is because when the LG 5K display came out, the iMacs hadn't been refreshed to Skylake or Kaby Lake processors, and because of that, some people are using the MacBook Pro just as a normal computer that they mostly use at their desk. And now that the iMac Pro came out, some of them are debating whether to upgrade, so that's kind of the reasoning behind this video. I wanted to see how the overall experience differs aside from just faster performance. So the first thing I noticed when setting up the iMac Pro is the keyboard and the mouse. The keyboard has a lot more travel than the MacBook, so typing just feels a lot more comfortable. The keyboard on the MacBook Pro requires a fair bit of force to actuate compared to the Magic Keyboard, so my hand tends to get tired a lot quicker. Plus, the iMac Pro comes with a full-size keyboard with a number pad. It doesn't have backlit illumination, which didn't really bother me, but what did was the lack of touch bar and fingerprint sensor. I know a lot of people prefer the traditional function keys because you know where all the keys are through muscle memory, and I actually didn't mind them until I fired up Final Cut Pro to edit a video. Final Cut is one of those few apps that genuinely makes good use of the touch bar because certain things like a volume slider just can't be done as well with key combos. But if the apps that you use aren't really making good use of the touch bar, then I'd honestly say that the Magic Keyboard is going to be a much better experience. Touch ID is still a godsend, but other than that, you're not really missing out on a whole lot here. The trackpad was a different story though. You can configure the iMac Pro with a trackpad instead of the Magic Mouse, but if you don't, it's just not going to be as smooth of an experience. macOS, and specifically Final Cut, feels like it was designed with a trackpad in mind and then mouse support was an afterthought. The Magic Mouse does support some gestures like horizontal scrolling, but it's nowhere near a full-on trackpad. Things like gestures and horizontal scrolling are awesome, and I do have the MX Master which does feature a horizontal scroll wheel, but it's just not as good as a trackpad. I'd recommend going with a keyboard and a trackpad along with a dedicated mouse for more precise tracking when you need it. The speakers on both of them are fantastic. Now, this may sound a little bit odd, but I actually don't use headphones or earbuds when editing. When I say that I work purely off my laptop, I meant it literally. The speakers are not perfect, and on one occasion I completely forgot to cut out the audio from the footage when I was editing, but they get the job done. The iMac Pro, on the other hand, you could literally work off of them if you somehow didn't have a pair of headphones with you. They're also not perfect, and I feel like they're a little bit bass heavy when it comes to vocals, but again, in that slight off chance that you don't have a pair of headphones lying around, maybe because they got damaged and broke, I think you'll appreciate the speakers on the iMac Pro. Here's a sound test to compare between the MacBook Pro and the iMac Pro. The screen on the iMac Pro is a little bit better and a little bit worse at the same time. The iMac Pro pretty much just takes the MacBook Pro's display and doubled the size, but because the MacBook Pro has 4 Thunderbolt 3 ports, you're able to hook up, just like the MacBook Pro, 2 5K displays or 3 4K displays. And what's great is that the iMac Pro uses the exact same panel as the LG Ultrafine 5K display, which was made to match the look of the MacBook Pro's display, so the colors and the brightness are all going to be virtually identical. They're both really bright and detailed, but the 2017 MacBook Pro has a 10-bit display, whereas the iMac Pro has an 8-bit display with dithering. So if you're working with photo and video and color is something that's important to you, then that's something to consider here. Obviously, I much prefer the larger display on the iMac Pro, but I found no issue switching back to the MacBook Pro's 15-inch display. The ports on the iMac Pro are also a lot better than the MacBook Pro. I don't mind using a dongle since I only have to use one because it gives me 3 USB-A ports and display output, but the iMac Pro has 4 traditional USB ports, which beats using an adapter any day of the week. The only problem is that they're all rear-facing, which isn't too big of a deal since there's this thing you can buy on Amazon where it extends the USB port to the front. I've never tried them because this computer isn't mine, so it'd kind of be a waste of money for me to buy it, but aside from the rear-facing USB ports, this is a godsend to me, which isn't something I should be praising the iMac Pro for, since if you buy a custom desktop you can get way more versatile I/O, but compared to a MacBook Pro, the port selection is a lot nicer. There's a couple of other things like performance which the iMac Pro is obviously going to be better at, but overall, I personally prefer the MacBook Pro. The reason really just boils down to not needing the level of performance that the iMac Pro offers, and because of that, I can very easily just hook up an ultrafine 5K display to mimic the iMac Pro, but keep the touch bar, the fingerprint sensor, and be able to unplug one cable and bring everything with me if I need to go somewhere. But if you need high core count processors and just better performance overall, as long as you buy the trackpad, I don't think the overall experience is going to differ a whole lot. So that's going to wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully you guys found it interesting at the least. If you guys did, a like would be much appreciated. This is Infinity Labs, and I will catch you guys later.